Afternoon, Indigo class. I thought I'd read the second part of the story in the garden. So here is part 2 of The Enormous Crocodile. "Oh, you wicked, beastly beast," cried Trunky. "Oh, you foul and filthy fiend. I hope you get squashed and squished and squizzled and boiled up into crocodile stew." The Enormous Crocodile laughed out loud and disappeared into the thick jungle. A bit further on he met Mugglewump the monkey. Mugglewump was sitting in a tree, eating nuts. "Hello, Crocky," said Mugglewump. "What are you up to now?" "I have secret plans and clever tricks," said the crocodile. "Would you like some nuts?" asked Mugglewump. "I have better things to eat than nuts," sniffed the crocodile. Didn't think there was anything better than nuts," said Mugglewump. "Aha," said the Enormous Crocodile. "The sorts of things that I'm going to eat have fingers, toenails, arms and legs and feet." Mugglewump went pale and began to shake all over. "You aren't really going to gobble up a little child, are you?" he said. "Of course I am," said the crocodile. "Clothes and all. They taste better with the clothes on." "You horrid, hoggish croc," cried Mugglewump. "You slimy creature. I hope the buttons and buckles all stick in your throat and choke you to death." The crocodile grinned up at Mugglewump and said, "I eat monkeys too." And quick as a flash, with one bite of his huge jaw, he bit through the tree that Mugglewump was sitting on, and down it came. But just in time, Mugglewump jumped into the next tree and swung away through the branches. A bit further on, the Enormous Crocodile met the roly-poly bird. The roly-poly bird was building a nest in an orange tree. "Hello there, Enormous Crocodile," sang the roly-poly bird. "We don't often see you up here in the jungle." "Ah," said the crocodile, "I have secret plans and clever tricks." "I hope it's not something nasty," sang the roly-poly bird. "Nasty?" cried the Enormous Crocodile. "Of course it's not nasty, it's delicious." "It's luscious, it's super, it's muscious, it's duper. It's better than rotten old fish. You mash it and munch it, you chew it and crunch it. It's lovely to hear it go squish." "It must be berries," sang the roly-poly bird. "Berries are my favourite food in the world. Is it raspberries, perhaps? Or could it be strawberries?" The Enormous Crocodile laughed so much his teeth rattled together like pennies in a money box. "Crocodiles don't eat berries," he said. "We eat little boys and girls, and sometimes we eat roly-poly birds as well." Very quickly the crocodile reached up and snapped his jaw at the roly-poly bird. He just missed the bird, but he managed to catch hold of the long, beautiful feather in its tail. The roly-poly bird gave out a shriek of terror and shot straight up into the air, leaving its tail feathers behind in the Enormous Crocodile's mouth. At last, the Enormous Crocodile came out of the other side of the jungle. At last, the Enormous Crocodile came out of the other side of the jungle into the sunshine. He could see the town not far away. "Ho, ho," he said, talking aloud to himself. "Ha, ha, that walk through the jungle has made me hungrier than ever. One child isn't going to be nearly enough for me today. I won't be full up until I've eaten at least 3 juicy little children." He started to creep forward towards the town. The Enormous Crocodile crept over to a place where there were a lot of coconut trees. He knew that children from the town often came here looking for coconuts. The trees were too tall for them to climb, but there were always some coconuts on the ground that had fallen down. The Enormous Crocodile quickly collected all the coconuts that were lying on the ground. He also gathered together several fallen branches. "Now for clever trick number 1, he whispered to himself. "It won't be long before I'm eating the first part of my lunch." He took all the coconut branches and held them between his teeth. He grasped the coconut in his front paws. Then he stood up straight in the air, balancing himself on his tail. He arranged the branches and the coconut so cleverly he could look exactly like a small coconut tree standing among the big trees. Soon 2 children came along. They were brother and sister. The boy was called Toto. His sister was called Mary. They walked around looking for fallen coconuts, but they couldn't find any because the enormous crocodile had gathered them all up. "Oh, look!" cried Toto. That tree over there is much smaller than the others, and it's full of coconuts. I think I could climb that one quite easily if you helped me up the first bit." Toto and Mary ran towards what they thought was the small coconut tree. And that is the end of part 2. I will be back tomorrow with part 3. Enjoy!